chancellor or maybe next to king. I lost the next to king. He was down in some, maybe he was the governor of that region. So Joseph was taken over there. But in those times also, when he was being a soul, you know how bad it is when you sell someone. Many times we hear in India that girls are being sold or boys are being sold. It's very bad. It's very bad to listen actually these stories. But similar the same way, this man Joseph, he was sold actually. This guy, small child, he was sold. When he was sold, I'll give you an example. When you are sold, you won't have a good impression. You will think, why should I work hard for somebody? But he was sold as a slave. But whenever he had a master, he was worked hard over there. But there were many issues happen here and there. The Potiphar's wife tried to accuse him with something. Later on, he ended in the prison. She started with his family, a good family, ended into a pit. Now he landed into a prison where he can't go outside of that. So now at last he's in a prison. There's a guy, just imagine a guy who is hated by his brothers, a guy who is put into a pit, a guy who is sold, at last the guy on whom all wrong accusations are there, at last this guy is put into a prison. I say it's a prison and he can't come out. But in this prison, there are a lot of transitions happen. He interprets the dream of the king under whom all the Egyptians were in charge. So he interprets his dream. The moment the king comes, the pharaoh comes to know, the pharaoh means the king of Egypt, he comes to know that this man is a very wise guy and he knows to interpret dreams and a lot of things he interprets. So he makes him his governor. I say second to him. So now Joseph becomes actually like a king person. So now Joseph becomes a king person. Let's imagine a person who was sold, who was put in prison, now becomes a king. And he is next to king, he is second in a king. Everything after king, this has to be his decision. So what happens? Now there is a turn of the story. His brother tells his father that your son has been killed and is died. Father cries for his son because he likes this youngest son a lot, and his youngest son is no more. But after some years, there's a famine all over the world. There's no food grains over there. There's food grains only in one place called as Egypt. And in that same Egypt, there's a man called Joseph. He's the king over there now. And this 10 brothers goes to that place only to get grains. No, because they know only the one place where to get grains is in Egypt only. So all these brothers go on a journey to Egypt to get grains actually. And now from here, I will just tell you some deep revelations from you. The moment, if anybody from outside country wants to buy something, they have to meet the king of that place, maybe the main governor of that place. So they all come to meet Joseph. Joseph sees his brothers. Just remember, if you are sold and it is the same brothers who have sold you. It is the same brothers just because of you are landed in a prison. The same brothers just because some moment people hated you. You might be so angry actually. But this man Joseph, the moment he sees his brothers, he actually his heart turns from inside. He sees, he can't see his brother. He goes outside and he weeps because he sees his brothers. That same 10 brothers who put him into prison. That same 10 brothers who, just because of whom he had to go in prison and everything. The same 10 brothers who put him into a pit. That same 10 brothers. He sees the same 10 brothers. And he sees them. The moment he sees them, he knows them. Because the word of God says, Joseph knew him, but they knew him not. But I'm telling you with this line, Joseph knew him, but they knew him not. Similarly in our lives, God knows us, but we don't know him sometimes. Before you are saved, God knew you. It is that you didn't knew him actually. Fact is that only you didn't know, but he knew you before that. The moment these people came in front of Joseph, all his brothers, Joseph knew them. But these people didn't knew them. Many times was the problem with us, was the problem with us. Because the moment these 10 brothers saw Joseph, they didn't know that he was his brother karke. Because Joseph had I don't say helmet, he had a crown for a skin. And the dressing of that Egyptian is quite different as compared to Israelite. Joseph's hair was a very big hat, right? A very big hairy head. Maybe he had decorated his hands like everything with new things. So the moment his brothers saw him, the brothers didn't know that he is Joseph karke. They thought he's a very different guy karke. They didn't know he is Joseph karke, but actually he was Joseph. Similarly in our lives, we know God Jesus as a powerful God. We know Jesus as a super powerful God. Because we know he's a God, even fire can't stop him. If he is such a dynamic, such a great God, that he dwells among such a great things. He is such a great God. He is such a mighty God. Even in his brothers saw Joseph as a king. but they never saw him as a brother. Similarly, in our life, we see God as a very super powerful God, as a powerful God, as a King of Kings, as a Lord of Lords, as a person. When he comes like a fire. When he is like a wind, like a thunder. We know God like that, but we need to know him as a brother. Because this is a point, people are we are breaking this point. We need to know him as a brother. These people, when they saw Joseph, they thought he's a king. They didn't know it is his own brother, your own brother. They thought he's a king. So similarly in our life, when we see God, when we see Jesus, when he's a King of Kings, a Lord of Lords, he's a great person. And how can we people, we are so much sinners, how can we come in front of him? But people of God, we need to see him as a brother. There's no need for us to see him as a king. We need to see him as a brother first. We don't have to see him with his power. We need to see him through his heart. In his heart, he says that you are brother. These people, that they thought that this man Joseph, he is just a king. He was his brother. He was their brother. In our life, many believers, they think God is a very powerful God. He is a supreme powerful God. He is a God beyond everything, but they don't see him as a brother. This is the point where many people fail to see.